Hey guys, welcome back to the Phalanx Arms podcast. And today we've got another cool guest, Taylor Crabtree, joining us. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff that he's got going on. We both have some cool stuff coming up. Some announcements. There's some really cool stuff coming for the podcast. I'm super excited. I'm going to be bringing on a co-host to be joining me permanently. I'm really excited about that. We're bringing in some cool companies to work with, and bringing we're buying new equipment. So really trying to up the production value and bring y'all a lot of really cool stuff. And I'm super excited about it. But Taylor, dude, thank you so much for joining us. How's it going, dude?
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. Life is good, brother. Life is
Good,
good.
good. So Taylor's also in Texas. He's in North Texas, outside the DFW area. We are both match directors this year for NRL. I am working with Andrew and Will here in Amarillo, and you are working with Clayton. What is Clayton's last name?
Clayton Miller.
Miller. So, what is the date of your match?
It's gonna be February 7th through the 9th.
February 7th through the 9th. Registration is open.
Open right now.
Go get signed up. Mine is April 26th and 27th. If you want to hit two badass NRL Hunter matches in Texas, get signed up. And my buddy, so Clayton Smith at West Texas Ordnance, Caprock Rifle Club, they also have a match in Texas. Their first one was last year. It was badass. There's going to be three awesome matches in Texas this year. So, guys, if you're in, well, damn near anywhere in Texas, Taylor's super central to a lot of stuff. Clayton and I are further up north in West Texas, so New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas, Arkansas, all those areas. If y'all are there, man, it's a super easy drive to get to me and Clayton. And Taylor is, tell everybody. I mean, kind of give us an idea. You're stupid centrally located to
So
everything.
we are in the middle of Texas. We are in the heart of Texas. So, like Mike said, if you're missing NRL this year because of location and you're anywhere near Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, it is your own damn fault. So basically, right now, so it's at the Miller Ranch. So the Miller Ranch is an hour south of DFW. It's 2 hours north of Austin. It's about two and a quarter, 2.5 hours from San Antonio, and about the same from Houston. So we are, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops from every major city airport in Texas. I mean, we're like he said, we're in the middle. There's
Yeah.
uh there's no excuse to miss it.
Yeah, and so we'll kind of get into the details of the facility, the venue, and everything that Taylor's working at. But I kind of want to, for those that don't know what NRL Hunter is, I want to kind of touch on it. So Taylor, kind of give me your view of, what is NRL Hunter? What does a stage look like, and why do you like shooting?
So NRL Hunter to me is the realest shooting experience you can possibly have. Um, it's hard to game. Like we all like to, we like everybody likes to shoot long range. I mean, making steel ding from far off feels nice. We all love it. Um, and there's a lot of different sports as far as long range is concerned. And there's the super gamey types that are fun. There's too hyper realistic where you're going to end up, dragging yourself through woods for 4 days. And then there's something right in the middle. NRL Hunter to me is, you know, if you haven't shot a long range match, and especially if you hunt, it's where you should start. So NRL Hunter, first and foremost, is a blind long range shooting competition. And what I mean by blind is up until like right when you get on stage, you're gonna have no idea what you're doing. You're not gonna know what you're shooting at or like where you're shooting at. Like you'll know the targets, but you won't know where they are, the landscape, or what you're gonna shoot off of until time has already started. So it's a quintessential find, range, and engage match, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I like that because yeah, man, that's a great way to put it. It is very real. You got to find them, range them, get your data, make a win call on the fly, figure out your position, and it's open to a lot of interpretation as far as positions go. And then making a good shot, and I think it's a blast. The one of the other things, so I shoot a lot of PRS, and I know you've shot a lot of PRS. I think both are awesome and but very different. And in PRS, it's hyper competitive, and you're constantly sitting there in glass. You're watching every shot go down range. You're trying to get every little bit of information. You can watch other people shoot the stage. You can bounce ideas off of each other, it's a lot of fun. Where NRL, you don't have the opportunity to do any of that, and so all you end up doing is just sitting there with your friends, BSing while everybody else shoots, and then you go up and shoot, and then you finish up, and then you go back into hanging out with your friends because you can't watch anything anyways.
That's right. All you have is an after actions on why you were good or why you were terrible, and the community aspect of NRL is just so much fun.
Yeah, the people are amazing, and I do think now there's you do have to you don't have to there are some things that are nice to have for NRL Hunter, like range finding binos or
Oh yeah,
range finding binos with ballistic solver. But it is a sport that you can come into with relatively little gear if you're wanting to come try it out.
yeah.
If you have a pair of binos and a rangefinder and any kind of hunting rifle, you can come compete and have fun in NRL. And even if you're, not wanting to, chase the podium, you can absolutely 100% make yourself a better shooter, a better hunter, a faster thinker. I love it. It is a lot of fun.
If you want to know how you're going to perform on demand, I don't know if there's a better test out there. It is like you're going to be able to use positions that, like, basically, as if you were in the field and you walked up and you saw an animal, you're going to be able to set your position, find the animal, range it, get your data ready, and engage it in a timely manner before the animal's gone. I mean, that's the way it's set up. And you don't get to take 100 shots at it. You know what I mean? And it's
Yep.
some targets are generous, some of them are not so much generous. Some of them are, the way these matches are, like, the difficulty wise, excuse me, how technical it is, how far you're going to be walking, how much you're going to have to spend time finding targets. I mean, there's give and take everywhere, and that's just so much part of the fun, because even you'll find that some of the hardest stages are the most fun ones to shoot.
Yeah. So for those that haven't shot one, the gist is, so like Taylor said, it is a blind stage. You're not going to know what you're shooting off of or kind of what everything looks like. The RO is going to ask you, are you ready? Say yes. Time starts now, and you're going to run, 10 to 40 yards up to the position. There's going to be a sighting stake where you sight from, and then up in front of you there will be two other stakes, a left limit and a right limit, and your targets will be inside of that. And you find those targets, range them, get your data, make a win call, and shoot. And you're either going to have one position with four targets, two positions with two targets, or four positions with one target. And it's a 2-1 dead target scoring system. So if you hit that target on your first shot, you get 2 points. If you miss, you re-engage, and if you hit it, you get 1 point. If you miss that second shot, that target is dead, and you move on to the next one. And so it's maximum 8 points per stage, maximum 8 shots per stage, minimum of 4. So the better you do, the less ammo you're going to shoot. If you miss a few, you're going to shoot a few more rounds. But that's kind of the gist, and it's just rinse and repeat over and over. And but you're going to have different animal targets, different ranges, different hiding them in different types of things and shooting off of different stuff. And it's always new, and it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So tell us, I want to get into this. So tell us about the venue that you're at, because this is something that doesn't exist anywhere else in the country.
No.
It is a very unique opportunity to go to. So hit me. Tell everybody what we're doing.
All right. So basically, a few months back, a buddy of mine, Brandon from Diligent Defense, gave me a shout and said, "Hey, I got a guy in Texas that wants to start doing long range matches. Do you want to talk to him?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll talk to him. But it's not just about having land. That's the least part of it. You need to have, the facilities, the amenities to be able to put on matches, and it's and the infrastructure to do so. And he's like, well, this guy's been running some of the biggest motocross races in the nation for a long time, and I grew up racing, so I was like, who is it? He goes, Clayton Miller. I was like, Clayton Miller wants to put on matches? Okay, yeah, let's do it. So it's the Miller Ranch, and it's Freestone County Raceway. So Freestone County Raceway has been around for they've been racing there for 26 years. They have four different tracks on property: a night track, a national track, a pit bike track, and a vintage track. And they, everything from like the AMA national televised events out there to like the regional racing. I mean, if you grew up racing seriously in the South, you've been to Freestone. It's a place that was built, to support anywhere from 6 to 14,000 people. They have real RV hookups. They not just the places in the grass. They have real bathrooms, real showers, scoring towers. I mean, they had all the infrastructure there. We just had to build a range, and it was and knowing Clayton, as the people that will show up and see, is very much buy once, cry once, and there's no half measures in anything. So, I mean, the Miller Ranch has been there since I think it's 1853. I mean, so it's been out there a long time, and it's a very much a family affair out there. Like his mom's still the one running, like she's overseeing everything. Clayton's out there doing the day-to-day operations. I mean, it is a sight to see what we've been up to. It's so we originally got into it and we set up a what you would call a square range, but it's non-traditional in a few different ways. So that is for the PRS area. So for the NRL guys, you won't see much of this. But I mean, it's a 600 yards firing line going out to 1,200 yards with it looks like a golf course, lanes cut everywhere, different style targets, field style, berm style, everything you can imagine. And ups to we just actually bought in a 3-story Connex box system to shoot out of, which cranes are cool, by the way, if you never got to run one. I felt like a little kid, like Bob the Builder out there. I was having a good old time. But every classical barricade you want to see, and none of the crap you don't want to. So for the PRS side of things, it was built to be very like traditional. Some things traditional, some things not traditional, but always very stable. The gas gun guys, we're gonna have matches out there that are just gonna we're gonna try to ruin your life. And the NRL style, you're going to walk around some of those beautiful country you can see in this part of Texas, shooting from, some flat areas like you'd think so, and shooting from some elevated positions that you wouldn't think could be there. And I mean, it's going to be bring your hiking shoes, but it's definitely a power sports friendly place. So we definitely want everybody that has, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles. You've seen me ride around motorcycles at NRLs already. Like if you've got a way you don't
Yep.
want to walk, bring it. It's going to be a good
Yeah.
time. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's sick.
Yeah, the video Clayton posted a day or two ago of him doing wheelies, hauling around on the little bike with the rifle slung back across his back. I was like, that is one of the coolest ads for a match I've ever seen.
The guy is just he's a bundle of energy. People think I'm on fire all the time. That guy is like he's a different level. He's honestly been the coolest dude to work with. Um and he's just passionate about like taking care of the participants and spectators. So I just want to touch on this. I mean, it's a family friendly environment. A lot of matches you show up, shoot, and you go find what to do afterwards. You're not going to want to leave after we're done. You gonna go ahead and spoil it now?
I want you to tell people everything that you are comfortable telling people as of right now. I know
All
you're
right.
still
So,
locking down certain sponsors and certain things, but
well,
yeah,
I'd
please
like
tell us whatever you can.
I like to say that we've got locked down IWI as a title sponsor. IWI stepped up, and they're going to be doing a lot of really cool things for people. It's a Israeli weapons industries. They've been around for a very very long time, and they wanted to get into this side of things. And Jeremy from IWI was very very gracious, wanted to step up and throw his hat in the ring and see what he can do for others. And that's been really a big theme of what we're doing out there is what we can do for others. And so, for instance, I'll tell you on Friday night after you show up at noon and sign up, you're not going to want to leave. You're going to want to hang out. We're going to have, we'll have food. We'll have a beverage area. We'll have, there's places for kids to hang out. There's fishing ponds. There's golf ball driving ranges with hole in ones. Come and when you know what? Come out there and you hit a hole in one. You're going to take a suppressor home. I mean, oh yeah. And there's cameras set up at each every one of them. I mean, we're going to be having a good time out there. And we're going to have a crew of people out there to where if you want to blow something up and you've never blown anything up before, and I mean really blow something up, uh, we're gonna have some punk out there if you want to come out there and do that. It's gonna be a good time. It's I'm very very like we're both very very excited to show people what's going on out there. Um, it's built for family fun. I mean, if you want to go out, like you're gonna want to come out there, hang out with your friends. The food's gonna be awesome. And after you're done shooting, you're gonna want to go put your gear away and come and hang out because that's what the place was built for. It's meant for, six to 14, 16,000 people to hang out for a week on end. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's not what you would call boring in any way, form, or fashion. It's
That's
a good
so
time.
freaking cool. What else can you tell us? I know you're still in talks with a lot of people. Any other sponsors that you want to
Not
shout
yet.
out?
There's so until we get so media decks have just went out. Until we get
Mhm.
everything ironed out, I want to talk about like there's people that have already that are in there, but we want to talk about them like where they're lining up at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And since we're doing this podcast pretty early on, I want to wait to talk about all that
Yeah, no,
later
and
on.
that's fine. I'm in the same
Um,
boat, so I understand.
yeah. So I can tell you this: the prize table is going to be cool. The ROs, guys, I want to say this before we even get started. ROs, thank you so much for what you do. It's what makes these sports go easier, and you're going to be taken care of. So,
Yeah.
let me see.
Yeah, guys, if you wanna RO, so and that's another thing. So our range officer for those that don't know. So the as an RO, your job is, first and foremost, keep everybody safe. Second of all, help keep match flow going well, and help spot and call impacts. Um, Now, if you've never touched a gun and never spotted or anything, I don't recommend coming and signing up to RO because there's a lot of people that are going to rely on you. But if you're confident and been around shooting and stuff, but you haven't been around NRL Hunter and you want to experience it, signing up as an RO is a great way to do that. So you get a entry into the match for free, and all of the ROs will shoot the course of fire on Friday while everybody is checking in, and then you'll be there to help RO while the shooters shoot Saturday and Sunday. And that's across all NRL matches. So if you want to get involved, um, hit up Taylor, get signed up as an RO. Same for us. We need ROs. I've already got a handful of people that said they want to do it, but we probably need another 15 or so. So come out and it's fun. I got the RO match last year, and my favorite, I got to because you get to meet every single shooter that's there, and you'll see the best of the best in the country, and you'll see people that are new to it, and everything in between, and you'll get to see how people analyze stages and how they set up their equipment and what equipment they're running, and how they ask questions, and kind of go into like this is one thing I think a lot of people
Oh
miss
yeah,
is so here you kind of go into it, but you can talk to ROs and ask
yeah.
questions, and it's
So
a very underutilized thing.
I would say it's probably the most underutilized thing that, and you'll see the difference between guys that are really, really good at this and guys that are just getting started. As
Hmm.
a lot of guys are afraid to ask questions. This is something, guys, ask questions. So, for instance, your first target is always going to have a little sign thing next to it that's an indicating that that's your first target. It'll be near it. No matter what, ask the RO. RO, is target such and such next to this? Yes or no, or be more specific. So sometimes if they don't answer, what they're asking you to do is ask a more specific question. So if it says, if you're shooting from near to far, if you think that two are close in distance, you can ask the RO, is target two such and such located right here? And if they can answer the question, they will. Most times, if you have if you miss points because you didn't do the course of fire correctly, that all could have been fixed if you would have asked questions. The RO
Yeah.
can answer very specific questions. Now, he's not gonna be like, you can't go up on stage like, RO, where's the target at and how far is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it has to be a yes or no question. And if it's too generic of a question, like so say there's two or three targets, or say there's two targets and one's here and then there's like a river, or a little creek. You can't ask, is target two to the right of the creek? Because then if they say yes, then they just eliminated everything left of the creek.
Correct.
But if you see a target to the right of the creek in front of a tree next to a pile of rocks, you could say, hey, it's target two 100 yards to the right of the creek next to that cedar, or in front of that cedar next to that pile of four boulders, and they'll say yes.
Yeah.
And so the better you can be specific and ask questions, and something. And now the thing where I see people I think fall short on this is depending on the terrain that you're in, but they may say, hey, it's target three next to that rock. Well, all four targets may be next to rocks.
Yeah.
So, and if you say, hey, it's target three next to a rock, and they say yes because it is next to a rock, but you're actually looking at target two, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
Um, you need to be specific. But if you ask very, very specific questions and get yes, you got all of the information that you need.
100%. You should if you do something out of order or anything like that, or it's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
If you're not certain about a position, ask.
Mhm.
Like you can ask those questions. And then don't forget to thank your ROs when you're walking off, guys. I know it seems like a small gesture, but these guys have been sitting out there in whatever sort of climate it is all day long, and they're making tough calls for people. People spend thousands of dollars to come and shoot these events, and whether it be guns, ammos, everything. Everybody's got a good amount of money in this and time away from their family, and
Mhm.
there sometimes there's some high pressure calls to make, and they've got to make these calls and just treat everybody with respect, and they're going to do the same.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so and there's a handful of different ways that you can shoot NRL. Kind of break down the divisions of how people can enter your match.
Oh yeah, fantastic question. So divisions wise, you're going to have open light, you're going to have open heavy, you're going to have factory, and you're going to have teams. So open light's very simple. You can shoot whatever you want as long as you make power factor. Power factor is your caliber times the speed equal 380,000 or up.
Yeah,
Um,
bullet weight.
as long as it's a 6 millimeter or bigger.
No.
6.5. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 6'5", 6'5" or bigger. And well, no, I guess technically you can do a 25. 25 will get there if you
Yeah.
run it fast enough.
Yeah. So
Yes, bullet weight times the speed has to be over 380,000.
yeah, so open light's really simple. Run what you brung, but just make sure it's under 12 pounds.
Yep, all in.
Open heavy.
Everything,
Oh yeah.
everything but the mag.
Yeah. So I mean, guys, that's going to be your rifle. That's going to be your optic, your mount. That's everything. Like how you're going to take it to shoot. Muzzle device, everything. Bipod included. If you're going to run a
Mhm.
bipod, that has to be included. If you're running a trigger cam, though, that's not included. A sling is not included. Things like that. But I mean, everything you need on stage to shoot, as far as that's connected to your rifle, has to be weighed in connected to your rifle. And when you do check in, your rifle will be weighed, and you're going to go shoot to make sure that you're in power factor. And then that's
Yep.
how they rank tiebreakers, which we can get to that in a second. Um, Open heavy guys is the same thing, but it's up to 16 pounds. So if you want to have a little bit heavier of a setup and that's what you need to run, then you can do that. Factory is a very, very, very cool division in my mind. So if you get onto NRLHunter.com, you can look at the approved rifles list for factory, and you get a factory made rifle as is. When there's certain things you can do and there's certain things that you can't, just make sure you look at the rules, and you're going
Mhm.
to show up and shoot that against people shooting other factory things. Now that's where you can have some different kind of setups. For instance, like I did not know or had never seen anybody that you can run gas gun. So you can run gas gun out there and make weight. But for instance, if you as long as you're shooting factory ammunition, you can shoot a 6 mil. So you can shoot 6 millimeter Creedmoor. You could shoot six arc, for instance, as long as you bring factory ammunition. That being said, your power factor, because it will come into play if there is a tiebreaker, that's gonna put you way down on the list. But if you don't have a bolt gun per se or something like a specific setup, there's a good chance you might own something you can go and shoot this match with. Now you can't shoot 223, you can't
Mhm.
shoot anything like that. You're going to shoot a real hunting cartridge in some way, form, or fashion. But also, it has to be under 12 pounds, all in
Yes.
all.
And before before you go into teams. So yeah, so me and Taylor were talking earlier this week and figured out that you can shoot a gas gun in factory division, which I don't want to get too into it because we're working with some companies, still trying to get everything figured out. But we are planning to shoot teams with gas guns with 6 arc, and I think it's going to be badass.
It's
And
going to be
so
super badass.
as all of this comes together, Phalanx Arms will start offering factory 6 arc ammo, and I think using alpha brass with our loading processes, I think is going to make the 6 arc freaking hammer.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you make, man.
Dude, I'm pretty stoked, and yeah, it's going to be cool. So, but with that, I think that's going to open up because it never really gets talked about. And I mean, and I've shot NRL, and now we're both hosting matches, and we didn't find this out until we figured this out till this week. So, guys, if you have a gas gun that's a 6 arc, a 6 Creed, a 6.5 Creed, a 308, something that a lot of you own, as long as it is a complete factory rifle, unmodified, that comes in 12 pounds or under shooting factory ammo, you can bring it.
It was on the list.
Yes, sorry. If it is on the approved list of manufacturers, which essentially it's major manufacturers. They have, they're producing a lot of guns and they're sold in like major retailers,
Right.
major box store retailers. So, right now there's Seekins and Daniel Defense and
There's
oh
a
my
few
gosh,
others. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm having
there
a brain for it. Let's see
I'm
here.
I'm blanking, but there's some good options. Like the companies that are currently on the list, we are working on getting another company added to that list that will be very good. Um, but yeah, it's a cool thing. So guys, if everyone's got ARs laying around, it's something to really consider.
Let's see
But
here.
oh, you pulling up
I
the
am.
approved manufacturer list?
I am. Let's see here. NRL Hunter factory. All right. 1 second. Factory class. So approved factory rifles. All right. So that's weird.
And there's the list is very there. It's a pretty large list of approved manufacturers, but there's only a handful of those that make gas guns as well. And oh,
Correct.
Stig is on there. Um,
All right. So here we go. So Barrett, Christensen Arms, Colt, Daniel Defense, FN is on there. Let's see here. Who else makes Remington, Ruger? See, does Savage make gas guns?
yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, Savage, Seekins, Sig Sauer, Smith and Wesson, Springfield, Stag Arms, Steyr. I mean, that's a lot of gas guns, guys.
yeah, that's a ton of gas gun options that people that are doing 6 arcs or large frame guns. So tons of cool options. But anyways, with that all being said, so hit us with teams.
So, sorry, there's two more divisions. I almost forgot about skills, so don't let me forget about
Oh
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
also, so you got team division. So basically, it's going to be you and a friend, and you're going to go out there and you're going to run this together. And instead of 4 minutes on the clock, you're going to have 6 minutes on the clock. Which is if you're you have good communication, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's more than enough time. You're going to show up. How I would suggest is one person is finding targets, the other person is setting up for position one, and then you get your dope ready and start shooting. Team division is what I've ran every time at NRL Hunter, and it's about as much fun as you can have with your pants on. It is. Me and Jimmy from Jimmy B. Rodriguez, Jim's Goon Life have done it, and that is just we've been shooting matches together for a long time, and if you've got a good buddy that and you both can shoot, I mean, it is so much fun. Rules wise, it's going to fall in under the factory or sorry, open 16 pound open heavy
Open heavy.
rules. And then also, if you're shooting factory, you can also shoot a factory class setup in teams as well. But it has to still adhere to all of the factory rules. So
Yes, which is what me and Taylor will be doing with this 6 arc project that we're working on. So,
It's
yeah, super cool deal. And
yeah.
then skills.
So skills, guys. If you want to run this match and you're worried about how you're going to perform, if you don't have the right gear, if you've never done a find range and engage before, and you just don't feel prepared, but you want to get involved, it's a little bit. It's almost half the cost to shoot skills division, and you're going to show up and you're going to get help. So
Yep.
you're gonna like, and just like any long range competition, guys, if you show up and you don't think you have something that you need, ask around. The long range community is the single most helpful community of shooting I've ever been a part in. Like my
Yep.
first long range match, I had like a literal sock with some beads in it. And like somebody gave me a bag. Like I still have it to this day. I'll never get rid of it. They helped me set up my dope properly. Like if you have questions, ask these people. They want to see you succeed.
Hmm.
But skills division is like an expanded version of that. Like if you need help on the clock, the RO is allowed to help you out. Like
Yep.
he's gonna like it like down to like if you just can't find targets, they're gonna help you find the targets. They're gonna
Yep.
help you as far as like where the like, can they tell you where the shot went and
Yep.
if you have one, yeah, like they're gonna help you call like and maybe make corrections if they feel comfortable doing that. It's like if you haven't done it before and you don't and you just want to go up and have a great time, it's not you're not gonna spend nearly as much money as everybody is, and you're going to be able to go out there and just still have just a kick-ass time. It's not scored, it's just out there for the experience. And guys, I can tell you personally, it some of the most fun I've seen people got some of the most fun I've seen people had at matches were guys shooting skills division, because also the standard rifle rules, they don't apply. If you just
Yep.
have, you can show up with whatever you want and run it. If you just want to go shoot it and have some fun and you've got a 223 gas gun, come and run it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you've got a whatever, if you've got your PRS gun and you don't have anything lighter to shoot and you just want to see what it's like, show up. You know what I mean? Work out first because you're gonna be carrying that sucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
It's
the only
a
thing so it is scored. The only thing with skills is you don't get to
Oh, it
walk
is
the prize
scored.
table
Okay,
because you're being coached on the clock.
gotcha.
Or you're so but yeah, so that's I see skills as two sides of things. One, you're a new person and you're wanting to kind of figure it out and maybe get some help and figure out what NRL Hunter is all about. Or you don't have all the gear yet. You're a PRS shooter, you're a ELR shooter, you're a gas gun guy, whatever the case is, and you want to commit to building a new rifle or whatever it is. Bring what you got,
Yep.
and you can do that. So I mean, you can bring a 30-pound six dasher if you want to. It's going to kind of suck to carry around, but
It's gonna
you can
super suck. Yeah. It's a bring a friend to help you carry that thing around for sure. But I mean,
yeah.
guys, it's a skills divisions. If you're not ready to compete yet, or you just want to go out and have that experience, say you there's some guys that they have no interest in the competition aspect of it, and that's totally fine. They
Yep.
just want to go out and have the opportunity to shoot at a cool location at these realistic animal targets and realistic spots, and they want to have fun doing it. And that is 100% what you can do. It's a crap ton of fun. Sorry, I gotta plug my phone in real quick. Let's see here.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, while you're doing that, so and then so I'll touch on the match that we're hosting here. So I'm working with Andrew and Will here in Amarillo, and our title sponsor is Applied Ballistics. I'm
Oh yeah.
super stoked that they came in and they came in big, guys. They're bringing their mobile lab to shoot across, and for those that haven't seen it or don't know what it is, they have this. It's essentially a big mobile Doppler radar that you lay down, and it's facing out this way. You shoot, and it tracks your. I never got a hard answer, but I want to say it tracks your bullet somewhere between like 1,200 and 1,500 yards or something like that through the air. And you shoot 10 shots, it'll tell you your muzzle velocity, average, your ES, your SD, your bullet BC, your bullet BCES, your bullet BCSD, and then it'll give you a personalized drag model that you input into your Kestrel, and it is for that specific load out of that barrel, and it's crazy how so I did it at the Night Force match last year, and we shot targets over 2,000 yards, and at I think it was 2,250 yards, dead nuts waterline. I mean, it was unbelievable how good this thing is. And so they're bringing that. It's the first NRL Hunter match they've ever brought this to. So if you want an opportunity, so this is where I think it's super cool. If you guys are are long range hunters and you want to get a personalized drag model for your hunting rifle that you are going to take out and hunt with, there is no better opportunity to get perfect data for that gun.
100%.
Um, they also we're going to be paying our ROs $200 to help with travel expenses and giving us their weekend and being there and supporting us. So Apply Ballistics help with that. And then Yeti came in absolutely huge as well. They're sending water jugs and coolers and chairs and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of ridiculous. And we've got other sponsors rolling in. I'm super excited. We're getting some local companies that are stepping up, some companies outside of the gun industry that which I think is really, really what this sport needs. And they're coming in awesome. And so, and my matches couldn't be more different than yours. Yours is at
No.
this amazing facility. Mine is in West Texas, and you're going to be shooting most likely high winds. It fairly flat. We're kind of up on a ridge line shooting off. It's mainly mesquites, tall grass, stuff like that, and it's going to be pretty freaking cool. That's one thing that's been really fun working with you over the last couple months on this stuff is me and Taylor talk pretty much every day, generally multiple times a day, and
Yeah.
bounce ideas off of each other. Sponsors, things we can do for the shooters, things we can do for the sponsors, different marketing ideas, and it's been really cool. And I think if someone comes to your match or my match, I think they're going to be very pleasantly surprised at what is there compared to things they may have seen in the past.
I definitely agree. I think it comes down to what we think that, what does the shooter deserve? What does the sponsor deserve? And how we make that happen as match directors. And, it's not going to be, you know, there's certain matches you'll show up to, and it's a you'll set up and it's a fun time. It's a good course of fire, but I
Yeah.
mean, you show up and then you head out, and then it's a that's all you were there to do, and there's and these things they're expensive to run, guys. But like as far as
Yeah.
like what the shooters are getting out of it, everybody does what they can for shooters, but we're just really, really, really focusing on putting on the best matches possible. Like the course of fire of both of these matches is going to be top notch. The targets, the props, they're going to be top notch. The things that matter are going to be top notch. But we want to take care of you guys. We want to say thank you for choosing us to come shoot our matches. Like that, and finding like-minded sponsors that want to take care of you guys. And
Hmm.
so far, I mean, what we're able to do for people, whether we're going to talk about it or leave some surprises out there. It's we want you to leave feeling appreciated, having a great time, having some time with your family, with your friends, and just feeling like, man, that's where I want to go. And
Yeah.
I think we have a pretty good plan to do that. I can tell you this: I'm not going to miss your match.
Yeah. And I'm not going to miss yours. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to shoot open light, open heavy, or if I'm going to R. Honestly, I'm probably going to end up ROing. Um, but I haven't decided what setup I'm going to bring yet.
If you
Uh,
just try to RO, I'm going to set you up with a crossbow and make you try to shoot it anyways.
you want
That
to see
that
the
would be the
fastest crossbow reloads in the world? I'll do it.
It's gonna get wild. It's gonna be you know what? That might be a video we need to film. What can't you do NRL with? I'm just saying. It'd be
Yeah. Yeah,
you
and
know,
it's cool, man. Getting to talk with you, and so the guys that I'm working with, so Andrew and Will, these guys are so smart and on 1,000% on the same page as me that and you we're trying. Honestly, my goal is to set a new standard for how matches should be held and what you should experience, and so are these two guys are on the. I'm just kind of the face just because I'm doing podcasts and stuff like that, but these guys have been busting their butt calling sponsors and getting stuff into. It's definitely far from just me doing the work. I just want to make sure I give my counterparts the credit that they
absolutely.
deserve.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
But there's man, it's I so one thing I forgot to mention for our match. So for any if anyone listening is familiar with the AG Cup and PRS, it's a big money match at the end of the year. It's actually coming up here in a few weeks. But the way they do it is there's every stage has a winner, and we are doing the same thing for our NRL Hunter match. So every stage, the person that has the best score with the fastest time wins a prize. So um, if you clean up, you are gonna clean up. But that's one thing. So for you PRS guys, um, and this is one thing I'll touch on. The shooting part of NRL, in my opinion, is easier than PRS because in general, the targets are bigger and they're not, and generally not as far. Now, you're testing 18 other different skill sets that PRS doesn't, so it's difficult in a totally different way. But if you're a good shooter and you can figure out how to find the targets and make good win calls on the fly, you can come clean up in NRL. And if you want to maybe leave with 3, 4, 5 prizes, this is the match to do it. So it's just little things like that, like that I'm so excited that we're both putting together, and it's I want to make Texas the go-to place for matches.
There's no reason why it shouldn't be. So, when it comes to NRL, when it comes to Gascon, when it comes to PRS, I mean, um, I'll jump into it because you brought it up. It's setting a new standard, and we're also thankful for the matches that we're able to go shoot. And it's one of those things the way there's stereotypes. So you'll see on like on meme page on Instagram, like you'll see it's 104 outside, and there's water bottles next to the cooler, but they're not in it. There's the week old porta john, you know what I mean, that hadn't been changed out. We get used to a lot, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like how we judge what a good match is. Most people be like, oh, solid course of fire, and it was I did well, and I'm like, well, what else? And like that's I mean that's what we got used to, and
yeah,
setting a new standard for what you should expect at a match is something we really, really, that we both want to just really work on, and then elevate. Because like when we elevate our matches, then we elevate each other, and then we elevate the sport. Like we were
yeah,
talking about, as far as like we're both going to have some non-industry sponsors in there, and that's to if you ever want to legitimize anything, there's not like when you go to a bowling, like even if you watch like on ESPN 8, man, the bowling's still sponsored by Geico. You know what I mean?
right.
It's and there's companies out there that want to be a part of the situation. And of course the industry sponsors, they want to help. And we want them to help. And that's where they often reach out before you can even ask and say, what can we do for people? But there's these big corporate sponsors that want to go out and they want to be seen, they want their advertising, but and what do they want? That's what they want, and what they're willing to give to the shooters for a better experience is just it's awesome. And it's something we should all be doing. It's something like how we market these matches, how we make things better for shooters. Like, guys, when you show up to my match, I'm telling you right now, when you show up to Clayton and I's match, you're gonna go home and there's gonna be pictures, there's gonna be videos. You're gonna be able to go and show your wife what you've been sucking at for 2 years and why you suck, and then but I look good doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We all do it. I mean,
Yeah, nobody knows that you missed that target in that picture, but damn,
yeah,
you
you
look.
look good doing it though, man. You look real good doing it. You know what I mean? Was that an impact? You're like, oh, totally, yeah, fucking
Yeah, of course it was.
clean that stage, and it's like there's a picture actually from me and Jimmy, like the most like so we like we're so like we're such good friends, and like we give each other crap all the time, but the single like most frustrated we've ever been in our entire lives was at one stage,
The
and it
stage
was
I
Mike
RO'd at Clayton's
it was
match.
Mike's stage, and it was the dumbest. Just oh god, I hated it so much. And it was not a bad stage. It was just a horrible experience. We just couldn't get a range. We tried
Right.
his binos, my binos. I had a handheld and backpack. I mean, we like I thought we were supposed to only be able to range from the sighting stick. Like that's where we got it from. And then a lot of people were apparently able to do it. We couldn't. But I mean, that was that's what separated us from the pack that weekend. But I mean, that was a but I remember there's a picture from it, and we're like, oh man, like because we video everything, but someone got
Yeah.
pictures of us doing it, and they were like, and we're like, oh, we look good. I hated you in that moment though. It's like it was like you see
Man,
Mike,
yeah,
you can see
I
Mike
got
in the
every kind
background
of reaction.
smiling. He's smiling just like, oh, these guys are like we had such a good match. just watching the toilet flush. It was hilarious.
Yeah, man. That stage, it was you had there was a full size pig close, and you had 60 seconds to kill. It was a charging pig, and quote unquote, and you had 60 seconds to shoot it, or it got you, and you were dead, and the stage is done.
Yeah.
Um, Dude, I saw anything and everything you could think of. People offhanding it, people still trying to get tripods set up, or people knocking it out in like 20 seconds, people not being able to find it. I mean, that stage kicked my ass when I went through it. Clayton called it Mike's lucky number one stage because I got a one on it. Because I shot my turret. I hadn't zeroed my turret from the last stage, so I shot over the first one.
Oh, rookie mistake.
I know. And then I couldn't find the other three until like 30 seconds left, and I threw the gun up, and when I did it, it like totally messed the mat and it jammed, and I never got a shot off. But
Okay, so somebody did it worse than we did. Okay.
oh yeah,
I
oh
didn't
yeah,
know that. This makes me feel so much better that you had
right
a
here.
horrible time. That
Oh
was
yeah,
that stage was like it was a good stage too.
oh it
That's
was
why
awesome. But
it
yeah,
was a
it
solid stage. Like that was at Clayton. You'll see us both again this year, man. That was a solid match.
yep. I'll
Um,
be back RO in Clayton's match again.
you guys don't want me RO and shit. But yeah, I gotta find ROs that are better than me because I'll take bribes. I get bored.
Hey, I think I told you that while you were sitting there waiting at the first day. You were like, "Well, where are the targets at?" And I was like, "Well, how much you want to spend?"
That's right. Like, do you want cash? Do you want bourbon? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, figure that out. It's answer ain't no unless you ask. You know what I mean? I'm trying to I'll give you a pot and a spoon, and every time I shoot, just smack them together. You know what I mean? We'll do that 4 times. I'll get the hell out of here. You get some money. Come on,
Yeah,
let's make it
but yeah,
happen.
man, I'm excited, man, and the sponsor things are I think are really cool, and trying to do really truly do right by the sponsors for what they're providing to
Yes.
us, to the shooters. I'm just and I mean, obviously I know I'm biased just as you are. It's our and I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect. There may be something that I miss, but I'm damn sure going to do my best to make sure everything is as good as possible.
100%.
Um, but dude, I'm just stoked, man. Um,
There's And I think I can speak for both of us in the fact that when this match is over, guys, I would love an after actions. I want to know what you loved, what you didn't
yep,
love. If you thought it was just good, what could have been better? You know what I mean? Like anything that we can do to make these matches better for you guys is what we're gonna do. If it's something that we can do and it makes sense, it's gonna be good. Some of you unless you're just like terrible and you're just missing because you're bad. I mean, I can just tell you where to go get some instruction at, but that's about it.
yeah,
But otherwise, if you have anything that's going to help the shooting community, shout it out. If there's something, guys, my Instagram's Possum Puncher, right? You can find Mike at Phalanx Arms. If you have something you want to see or something you think's a good idea that hasn't happened, I'm all ears. Like let's
yep.
let's let's figure this out. Let's make this the best time for everyone. You know what I mean?
And speaking of that, so yeah, so Taylor's Instagram is Possum Puncher. Mine is the Mike Burtis, and then the company is Phalanx Arms. That's where we are putting out all of our information on Instagram about the match. Important updates. New sponsor updates. All that stuff. So make sure you come find us on Instagram.
So you'll see it through my account, through Clayton Miller's account, and then you'll see it. But we'll have everything posted and tagged, guys, to Freestone Shooting Complex. So it's at Freestone SC on Instagram and Freestone Shooting Complex on Facebook. Guys, give us a follow. We'll be posting on there constantly with match schedules, what we're up to, trying things out, and taking care of the critters that are walking around while we're getting stages set up. I mean, it's nuts out there. Oh my God. The dogs just like the yotes just walk up on you. You're like, what are you doing here? Like, just like,
That's when we were going and setting up, just figuring out the course of fire and setting up stage. The antelope and deer, and I mean, there's all kinds of crap running around there. It was pretty neat.
it's everything that you want to take that when you're not like in the position to take it. Just like so we were talking about a doe hunt that we're both doing doe hunts this year together. And we're going out there, and it's one of those things to where when you're on a doe hunt, you're trying to take a certain amount of tags for like a landowner. All you're going to see is bucks.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. So and so that is what. So speaking. So obviously this is a hunting based series,
Yes.
but um, holy crap, does it make you? So I was out hunting doing a doe management hunt this past weekend, and shooting PRS for the last few years really helped me become a more proficient shooter, getting quicker at setting things up and all that kind of stuff. But shooting a full season of NRL Hunter, I even this weekend I noticed little things here and there about just how much easier certain, I've spent a lot more time behind glass now looking for very hard to find things. I found tons of animals. There was one I was sitting there looking through something, and there was this grass, and I was like, there is something there. I don't know what it is. It's at like 320 yards, and just started staring it down, and a freaking squirrel ran out. I was like, I just saw a squirrel at 320 yards, and I never would have done that in the past. But then in like having the thing that I've become a because I had never necessarily had a need for this in the past, but having range finding binos with a ballistic solver is a absolute game changer for hunting. And man, have just being up range, dope, turn it, shoot. I mean, it's so incredibly fast, and it makes and you can be such a proficient hunter. It's pretty damn cool. What
It's
what binos do you use?
so right now. So I went from the Sig 6Ks, which they were great. They
Mhm.
laser range finding binos with AE or AB light in them, to where I
Yep.
just got I got the I got new to me Sig 10Ks with
Nice.
full AB in them, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't set up the applied ballistics part of it yet. The I got to get all my I just lost all my
You've been a
profiles on
little
my
busy.
Kestrel. Well, yeah, I just lost all my profiles on my Kestrel 2 days ago and don't know how that happened. I didn't override it. They're just all gone, so that's fun.
Probably an update because
Yeah,
I have a pending update on mine that I just haven't done yet. It's probably what it is.
there's
But so, speaking of the bind, so I use the Swaro EL
yeah,
ranges, and I love them. The glass is, I mean, it's Swaro glass.
it's Swirl. Yeah,
It's freaking phenomenal. But for those of y'all wanting to get into this, this is they're range finding binos with a ballistic solver aren't necessarily the cheapest thing. There are some good options that you can get into for less money. But there's kind of like solid tiers that I think that you should hit. Um, the Vortex
the
Furies with
Furies.
ABs are probably the least expensive solid option that I would recommend.
Agree.
Then the new Gen 2 SIG 10Ks are amazing. I got to mess with those at the NRL Grand Slam where SIG brought out a bunch of stuff, and I was super impressed. There's the new Vector X binos that are starting to ship out now. Yeah, I can't wait to get a set. And then from there, um, probably the Swaros, which is a pretty big jump in price, but
Mhm.
they're pretty freaking slick.
It's Swirl, guys. It's
Yeah,
if you haven't looked through a pair, don't keep your money.
yeah. They're so the one of the things that I mean, this is in that we're going off on a tangent, but I've become a glass snob the more and more I've gotten into a lot of this stuff, and what people don't realize realistically if you go out in a bright day on a bright day, it's not overcast, and you look at a target, a painted white target anywhere from 400 to 1,000 yards, and you do it with a $400 pair of binos or a $4,000 pair of binos, they're gonna be fairly close. The more expensive one, you're probably going to pick up some mirage and some, and little finer details and stuff like that. But where everything, it's any other situation when you got high mirage, You're looking into shadows, you're looking into rocks, you're looking through tree branches into foliage, all this other stuff. So what I noticed it was at Clayton's match in Brownfield, he had one long range stage on two antelopes at like 850 and 950 or something like that. And there's a ton of mirage. It's just the nature of the beast at that place. And one of the guys I was shooting with, came off, and I don't even well, I don't remember who it was, but I wouldn't say him. But he was like, dude, I just saw like a white blob out there. And he's like, I couldn't tell where I missed. And he's like, let me see your Swaros. And he was like, holy crap. He's like, dude, that thing is actually painted to look lifelike. It's like, yeah, no. But anyways, it's the Swaro glass is pretty freaking, and the new Gen 2 610 case, I was super impressed with the glass. A huge step up over the Gen 1s. And then I haven't personally gotten hands on the Vector X yet, but the guys that I take that back. I messed with the set like a week ago, but it was inside and whatever. But I've heard good things.
They're
But
dope. They're
I
dope. I've
would
messed with
highly
them.
recommend if you are going to do this, if you're going to be competitive, you have to have a ballistic solver in your binos, I think. Um, but you don't have to just to do it or have fun or get better. I think is a good way to look at it.
It
Um,
it it definitely helps. If you've got, for the most security, having like, so I like running backups of everything. So guys, run a hard dope card. Have a hard dope card, something to reference to. Have a red rose on there, something you can reference to. Like, you need that hard data to look at, and then having that ballistic solver in your binos is exceptionally helpful. The first
yeah,
match I ran with the the SIGs, we didn't run it. We just ran off hard dope, and you can do pretty well with it.
yeah,
I mean, really, you can do really well with it. I mean, it's just having that, not taking every advantage you could is just, isn't the best option for anything. And
right.
do you need them to win? No, but it would help. I mean, you ain't got to have running shoes to run, but that shit helps,
Yeah.
you know?
So in speaking of, we kind of went into the range finding binos. Walk me through what your gear setup looks like for NRL Hunter so people can kind of get an idea of
Yeah,
because you
totally.
shot factory, right?
I did. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay, well while you're doing that, I'll kind of go over mine. So for this past year, I shot open light, and I did so it's built on a Lone Peak Fusion titanium action with a proof carbon barrel. And I ran a without warning TMB, and it's in a MDT Hunt 26, which I freaking love that chassis. It is amazing. Then running Hawkins heavy rings with a zero compromise um, 4 to 20 and a MDT triple pull. Um, and the triple pull, I think, is a really cool, maybe like get out of jail free card for NRL Hunter because it kind of gives you some opportunities to build positions that maybe some other people can't without getting, the incredibly long legs with the triple pull. Definitely not a must. I don't use it. I mean, I don't use that capacity all that often, but when I do, it's awesome. And then running the Swaro EL range binos and the Armageddon gear bino harness, which guys, if you haven't seen the new hunting line from Armageddon gear, it's awesome. They're doing some pretty dang cool things. And that the bino harness has been, I've been running it for the last 2 seasons. It's a wax canvas bino harness. The back portion is nice and big, so it's super comfortable. And then I can keep a water bottle, kestrel, call, maps, you name it, in it, and then running a really right stuff 2 piece inverted tripod. That's my and then I bring 2 bags with me, a Weebad, to both Weebad tater tots, one's light fill, one's heavy fill. Um, and then I'll go ahead and spill it. So me and Dan Harride are also going to shoot teams next year. and we are building 25/7 PRCs
Oh,
that West
so
Texas
cool.
Ordnance developed. So I should be loading barrel break-in ammo tomorrow, I believe, and doing so we're gonna run 133 burgers at the speed limit for NRL Hunter, which is 32.75. And I think
Mock,
it's gonna
mock
be
Jesus. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, sending it with Jesus. So that one I think is, and that one's gonna be in an open heavy setup. It's in a Foundation Revelation, running a Loophole Mark V. I think that's going to be a super cool setup. And then hopefully in the somewhat near future, we'll have this little 6 arc project going.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
So I'm going to swing this way and show you what I run.
yeah.
All right. So I guess I'll start with the bag. I ran through a different couple iterations. I ran the Everly Stock X2 for a while. I found it to actually be too much. I like minimalist stuff for a lot of reasons. So I run the Bandit. I have my
Okay.
water bottle in here. I can put my essentials up top. I carry carabiners on it to, everything I need to clip into. You can throw your tripod on the side, strap it on. And this is a very, very lightweight pack. If you like running oh man, what is that? The Old Balls Inc. System on here. You can strap those on. Currently, I just carry my stuff. Um, and that's my backpack setup. I mean, I like something light that I can just push in and out of the way. And at the same time, positionally, it's still small enough to, if I need help with like starting a position up, I'm good to go. I'm a really big fan of this bag.
Hmm.
Um, so let's see, a shooting bag. So I've got a few different bags. So I've got the Armageddon gears, of course. I've got the Wee bags. I'm a big fan of a lot of them. This especially a lightweight bag is cool. This year I started running the Dringer bag that Without Warning imported, and this thing is spooky. It is. God, I wish these were here all the time. This thing is just the shape of it. I mean, this kind of like hourglass shape that they pioneered out there in Sweden. This thing is just, it's so good. Like you can't feel this with your hands, but it doesn't feel like spec fill. It doesn't feel like sand. It's just, it feels like a home. I just want to be in this thing. It's so good. And like I said, carabiners on everything. Um, Rifle setup. And I'll tell you guys, just like PRS, have backups. Things happen when you're getting in a position and stuff like that. Some things fall out. Sand gets into stuff. You want to make sure you have an extra mag. Running 10 rounders is all you need for NRL. I like to run just 2 10 rounders and have them with me. So this is my factory division gun. This is a Seekins NRL setup. So it's just like their Element series, but it has a little bit heavier profile barrel. Trigger Tech diamond trigger in it. Running the Leupold Mark 525 with a PR2 reticle. It's probably my favorite reticle in the world. This is my Paul PRS data card holder. I don't really run that in NRL too much. Barricade stop made by the same guy. This is something I got into slowly, but I have become a believer in. This is my MDT double pull.
Yep.
A lot of guys like running the triple, and I see the point of it all the time. The triples are sick. They're super dope, but this thing is just like, until you like get into a weird position, you don't think you're gonna need like you don't need this bipod to win by any chance, but by any means. But it helps. I mean, this thing can get. I mean, look, this thing can get very, very tall.
Yeah.
If you want to get out of a high grass situation, go tripod rear. I mean, I love this gun. Sitting on top of it, I switch back and forth between a TMB brake or a Chad. If I'm running suppressed on bolt guns, I am a huge, huge fan of the Diligent Defense cans. Brandon and them have been putting out a fantastic product for a long time. This is the Enticer. I very much like it. So tripod, I've went out of all the matches I've ran, I've switched my tripod up every single time. I started out with a 3-section or 4-section. Yeah, so it's 3 knobs, so 4-section Vortex. And I found it was too much to get set up, like to get the perfect
Yeah.
height every time. I spent too much time with it. Very rigid tripod, good head on it.
Yeah, I had 2 of the Vortex tripods, and dude, they're nice.
They're nice. It's currently my spotter setup tripod because it's very steady. It's very cool. After that, I went to the Switchback, which is their more lightweight setup.
Yep.
I noticed that when I would shoot tripod and I would put my gun on top of like my gun on top, whether I clipped in or used a tack table, which we'll go over this in a second, I would still see some, a little bit of wobble, even if I wasn't inducing anything in the gun. It's just because it was really, really lightweight. I still
Mhm.
take that thing for like long range backpacking hunts and use it a lot for rear support. It's fantastic. But, I found it sometimes wasn't as sturdy as I needed. So I went with the Leo photo of the new X Series 2 section. This thing, it's not small. It's a large tripod. I'm shooting large. But I mean, it's just one adjustment and
Yep.
it's fast. And the 40X or whatever this head is called, um, I'm a big fan. You can hook up Picatinny or Arca in it. And on top is something that I actually, I'll show you. Do you have a second, Mike?
Yeah, yeah, show 'em.
So this is the Rytech Industries bag deck. So this is something that I developed a while back with Rytech. So essentially, after my second NRL, I had been using a really great product. It's called the Mub, but it's really set up for more of a spotter setup because it's really thin and long. And I found my bag coming off of it a bit. And then so I saw a guy on Instagram, Airgun Mafia. He was running one that was just a cutting board. And I actually made a video on how to make one out of a cutting board. It did fairly well, and I used it for a while. But then I noticed it was kind of flexible. The grip tape didn't like to stick to plastic so much. And then I was talking to Marshall at Rytech, and I said, "Man, there's a lot of good, tack tables out there, but like, you can really see which ones are good when you show up to NRL, because there's, and you'll notice a lot of guys make their own, and because sometimes tack tables guys, if they're set up for spotting, they got a million holes cut in them, they can get, there's tack tables that are $300 something out there. So we wanted to make something light that was just easy. This is a piece of aluminum that got milled out that has an Arca plate with the R lock in it, so you can lock into it. Quarter 20 screws if you want to mount anything to it. Sometimes I'll strap my bag to it. And I mean, this thing is just at a pound. And I have grip tape on it. That way, when you set your bag on top of it, that I found that and if you shoot enough on tripod, you'll notice that if you clip into your gun directly and the recoil impulse goes through everything it's connected to. So it goes to the barreled action, into your stock, and that's what you feel moving. If it's connected to a tripod, the tripod will sway as well. With using a tack table, I like that because when the bag on top, the rifle just goes over the top of the bag, just like any other super sturdy barricade. So it doesn't matter what your tripod sitting on, it's just going to be the same recoil impulse every time. And with the grip tape on there, some people wonder if the bag's going to get messed up by moving. Well, the bag doesn't move. The bag just sits there.
Yeah, the bottom stays and the sand moves and the top of it just pivots
Correct.
with.
And these are, I mean, shameless plug. These are available at rytechindustries.com.
Yep.
But yeah, it's something I came up with. Marshall helped develop, or we both came up with. I mean, it's my idea, then his vision through it, and I'm super super proud of these. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that a tack table of some sort. I mean, whether you buy mine or anybody's, I think a tack table is a very very big help in NRL Hunter.
So
I personally like to run them.
so let me ask you this. So I agree. So I run um when I shoot off a tripod, I do the same thing. I shoot off a tack table with a bag. What what are your thoughts on shooting off a tack table versus clipped into the tripod?
Oh, that's what I mean. So here, I
I
actually
know, but
I'll
like,
show
why do you like the tack table more?
speed. Um, Getting clipped into a tripod correctly at the right height and everything like that, it takes time. Yeah, the nice ball heads make it to where you can move it really easily and everything, but depending on
Right.
how sturdy your tripod is, like I was talking about, like are the feet perfectly settled? Is it going to have any of this, like any wobble in it? Are you seeing
Yep.
S's? Are you seeing infinity signs? Um, with when you put a bag on top of it, it's going to add some weight. It's going to settle the tripod, and it's also going to give you a more stable shooting position. For me, a tripod with a good tack table with a good bag on top is like shooting off a PRS barricade. It's
Yep.
stable. And the
I
name of the
agree.
game is why, like to me, it's like why are you gonna spend all this money and travel, load ammo, get your gun right, do all that, and then get the gear right, you get your laser rangefinder right to find your targets, getting all the everything, like find them, range them, get your dope ready, and go to pull the trigger, and you're just seeing an earthquake. You know what I mean? It's you do all that to take a bad shot and just kick yourself in the teeth on the way home. And
Yeah.
I want to
And
take it. I
yeah,
want
go
to
ahead.
take every excuse as a super mediocre shooter to take. I want to take every excuse I have away for missing targets. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
run good ammo, phalanxammo.com. Run run good run a good scope. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Run a good rifle setup, run a good tripod setup. It stuff matters. Do you have to have the best of the best? No, for sure. Like me and Mike talk about this. Like I'm not sponsored by Leo Photo or anybody like that. I'll tell you, if you ask me point blank what the best tripod in the world is, it's the really right stuff. But I mean, I personally like I just had a son. I can't really afford one right now. So,
Right.
jumped on the Leah photo and then you can, they have some discounts running sometimes. So I got that two section. Is it as good as the really right stuff? No, but can you win with it? Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
there's certain concessions you can have. Like, do you need Swaros to win? You don't. I mean, they really help. But can you do it with the SIGs? For sure. Do you need a $10,000 bolt gun setup to win? No, you can do it with the factory gun. It's a lot of this is the Indian, not the arrow, but having good arrows helps out a lot.
Yes. Yeah, that's a damn good way to put it. Yeah, that's one thing. I just through using a tripod a ton over the last few years. So I had the same thing. I had the Vortex switchback. Uh, awesome tripod. Um, but same, I found it a little too wobbly for me personally. Shoot, now also I'm a big guy, and dude, if I
You're not a guy, you're an ogre.
yeah, if I would just find if I moved just a hair, it was enough mass to like twist it or, and that's
Yeah.
not just Vortex, that's any of these lightweight uh skinny and everything's a trade-off. But I was actually talking with Peyton Grimes at the Grand Slam match earlier this year, and um, she brought the tripod that she normally takes hunting, and it's that little bitty sucker from Really Right Stuff that collapses to like a foot and a half, but
Yeah.
it's a four section and gets pretty damn tall. It's just the nature of the beast. You get something that's super lightweight and compactable. It's really, you can walk around with it and it's no big deal, and you can fit it in your backpack easy. But with not having as big a diameter of legs, you're going to have more flex or whatever the case is. And that's why I fell in love with the two piece inverted as well.
For sure.
Those things are just stupid solid. And honestly, I don't know if I really want the 22 the compact really right stuff one. That's just it's a hair lighter, a hair shorter, all that kind of stuff. For if my big one isn't feasible. But yeah, shooting off those two section tripods is uh I think it's a game changer if you've never shot off of one.
I think it's one of those things to when you guys, if you show up to one of our matches and you haven't had the opportunity to on Friday, especially grab one, try it. If I've got it available, you can shoot with it. It's a people talk about give and take and trying to game the system and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, I do wildlife removal for a living. That is my job. I do
Mhm.
hunting. I hunt more than I hunt a lot, guys. I hunt a whole lot. It's I mean it's what I do. It's my job. But like I don't. I used to take little stuff with me, little compact stuff with me, and I'll tell you the weight difference between one of these big two sections and a little guy. It's if you're gonna save weight, I don't really think that's the place you should do it because when I go hunting, when I go backpacking, when I go up to Colorado, when I go out to Utah and stuff like that, I take this guy with me. I take it. It's to me, it's like man, I'm already packing out my rifle, which is not small, right?
Yep.
Why I mean having a tripod strap to me is the same thing, like if I can pull a pound out of having just anything extra, literally anything extra that I don't 100% need in my to-dos, like guys, I mean here, this looks ridiculous. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, for those of y'all that are just listening, you'll have to check it out on YouTube.
Look, this is crazy. All right.
Yeah.
I got what is this, a 20-inch tall for the people listening, like a 20-inch tall backpack with like a 40-something inch tall tripod with a 60-something inch long rifle. It's crazy. But you want to know what I actually hunt with? This is what I actually hunt with. Like
Right.
it's and that's one thing cool about NRL Hunter too. It's like if you want to know what you want to go taking from those, those big elk hunts, big sheep hunt, you don't really know what gear you want to take. Come shoot an NRL, you're gonna figure it out quick.
Yep.
You'll figure out what
Yeah.
matters and what doesn't.
That's one of the biggest things I've learned is what matters and what doesn't. And The only, I don't want to say the only, but the main type of hunting that comes to mind where I would probably change up quite a bit versus what I do for this is if I was going on like a high altitude sheep hunt or where I'm going, tons of elevation change and I just have to be as fair as I possibly can. Outside of that, like I'm taking the stuff that I take on an NRL Hunter match. I mean, when I was gone this weekend, that I took my open light setup, my open heavy setup, that tripod, that backpack, and I'll do the same when me and you go on our doe hunt. And then again, when we go to Oklahoma to hunt, I mean, it's going to be the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's a that's gonna be a busy week. That's gonna be a
Yeah,
real busy week right there. That's we can say it. That's gonna be what 30 doe and 2 bucks and a few more does. That's gonna be
yeah,
dogs are gonna eat good for a while. You know.
yeah. So me and Taylor are going to go to Oklahoma. Damn, pretty soon. Try and get both of us a buck. Probably fill some doe tags, and then right after that, going on a management. I'm blanking on what it's
Yeah,
called.
it's right before that. We're gonna leave a couple days before that and go hit that management hunt by your house. And
Yes,
so it's a land management hunt with there's going to be me, Mike. If you follow David from Hogaholics, he's the one setting it up. We're going out there to, out by Turkey, Texas, and we're going to go out and do some land management hunts. And just so you know, that was like, guys, that meat that gets taken, if we're not eating it, it all gets donated to local food shelters or churches or anybody else. We don't waste anything on these hunts. We do have a lot of fun while we're doing it, but it's for a great cause. It's for the right reasons. And I can tell you last year, David and I went and took it to a Lake Point church out here in Rockwall for their food kitchen. And that ended up being what they got for their Christmas dinner. Like for people, like for less fortunate families,
that's
they
awesome.
all got a pound of, this really, and we paid to have it mixed up with some fat. Like it was like, or sorry, the processor did. They,
Right.
they, they, they went all out for these people. And I mean, to sit there and help some families that don't have, that are worried about what they're going to eat that week, that are worried about like for Christmas dinner, like are they going to have presents? Are they going to have a turkey? I mean, taking care of people other than yourselves is one of the best feelings you can have in the world. I mean, it's one of those
Yeah.
things. I mean, I think actually that comes back to like what we're talking about as match directors, taking care of the shooters and taking care of the sponsors. Like,
Yeah.
if we can put on a good course of fire, if we can take care of our shooters and take care of our sponsors, and I mean that's a win. That's the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how we grow the
Agreed.
sport. That's how we take care of each other, and that's how we. I mean, that's the goal. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Freaking nailed it, dude. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm pretty stoked for that management hunt. That's a lot of deer, a lot of meat, and it's gonna go a long freaking ways.
For sure. It's going to feed a lot of people. And it's a I'm really pumped about it. Like I will take some extra raw bones for my dogs though. They love that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
will.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. And I know we covered I mean, it's all NRL Hunter, but we covered a pretty wide range of stuff. But dude, thank you for coming on and sharing your passion for this stuff and explaining some of this stuff, guys. Seriously, two badass Texas matches, the Freestone Hunter and the Dust Devil Duel. I mean, they're going to be fun. Get signed up. Registration is open for Taylor's. Registration is not open for ours yet. Um, give us the dates one more time.
February 7th to the 9th.
February 7th through the 9th. Ours is April 25th through the 27th, and it's going to be a damn good time. And
Yeah.
one thing, and I forgot to mention, at both matches, I will be bringing way too much gear, and it's just for demos for people. So if you want to check out an open light setup, an open heavy setup, depending on how fast all this other stuff comes together, a gas gun setup, I'll have tripods, binos. You're welcome to mess with any of my stuff. So save yourself if you want to check out and get hands on. And Taylor's got a ton of stuff too. So I mean, we'll have stuff there. We're trying to at our match, we're going to have some vendor booths on Friday. for people to check stuff out. So being at these matches is the best way to see all the gear because there's going to be 100+ different setups, and it's pretty cool. I'm
I'm
a gear
excited,
geek.
man.
I
This is gonna
love
be
it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Well, dude, thank you again, guys. Get
thank
signed up for the NRL Hunter matches, and dude, I can't wait to see you in February.
absolutely, brother. Thank you for having me on the show. And man, yeah, take care of yourself, brother.
All right, talk to you soon, bud.